Hey, my name is Matt Strassen, and this is my daughter Danielle Strassen. And this is our puppy Thunder. Danielle's going to be the occasional model. Thunder's the pain in the butt and the occasional model also. What we're going to do is try to explain to y'all how to take better pictures with your cell phone cameras. Because these cameras are made to take great pictures. It's just a matter of unlocking the little hacks and doing the little things that professional photographers would do or amateur photographers would do to just get them a little bit better. So we will go ahead and start. And Danielle is going to be our model. She's going to put Thunder down. So the first thing you want to do is try to do different angles when you're taking pictures. You never want to be straight on, because straight on looks a little bit boring. So you're straight on right there. Okay. No. You know, we got a nice picture of her, but it's a little bit, Alright, doesn't really have any pop or anything.
Can't really see.
Can't really
see
see
the
it.
brightness up.
There we go.
That's better. Yep.
Elena Vavalor / Danielle. So, what we want to do is we'll do a little bit of a different angle. Danielle straight on. She's looking at us. And it's a lot more flattering. So then we got that. And it's just a matter of finding different angles. What one thing works for one person doesn't work for the other. So maybe you want to move a little bit to the left. You want to move a little bit to the right. You want to go a little bit down. You want to go a little bit up. So if we go down, we have Danielle. She looks heroic. We go a little bit up. Yeah, she looks a little bit less heroic, but we see her dress and oh, that Elena is just popping. So we see the from down. Yeah, and then you got to find the right lighting and the right different thing. And that's the next thing that we were going to talk about. Elena, go back to your place. You always want the sun in front of the subject. So for us, the sun's back there. It's more or less in front. We don't want the sun behind the subject, because whenever we have the sun behind the subject, they're just going to be in a shadow. Or a mixed subject. So come on, Elena, let's go out here. So, stop right there. So we're going to take a picture of you with the sun behind you. Not gonna look that good, and Thunder is barking his tail off. But if we move around a little bit and we put the sun, and we have her in shade first, and then we put the sun behind her, then we get a much better picture. And there's ways of playing around and doing stuff with the sun. Like right now, yeah, we just have that little light on her hair, and it just gives it a little bit more depth. And as opposed to with the sun behind us.
Can you hold the camera? Hold it down. There we go.
Yeah, we can't see her because the sun is overpowering it. You know, there is no flash, no nothing that you can do to make the sun, to overpower the sun. Which brings us to our next thing. While camera phones are great for a lot of stuff, flash is not one of them. Do whatever you can to not use the flash on your camera phone. You know, if that's, playing with the sun, or if that's, turning on lights inside or whatever, you want to do whatever you can to preferably not do that. So
there's pro mode where you can adjust the lighting on that as well.
Yeah, and iPhones have a lot of cool things where you can do different portrait modes or different things. And, for me personally, I use an app called, let me find it.
The app's called Let Me Find It?
The app is called Let Me Find It. Thank you, Danielle, yes. The app is called Camera Plus. So what Camera Plus does is it lets us do different filters. And it can look kind of cool and make your photos look different. And that's a lot of there are a lot of Instagram filters. But like what I do a lot to my photos is add HDR, and it just makes everything pop. You know, and you can do that. The way the algorithms are made in the camera, it's actually better to lighten up the photos. If they're a little bit too dark, then try to blast a flash in there, and it just will give you a bad looking effect. So don't do that. You know, these are, you know, your holiday memories, your Thanksgiving, your Christmas, you know, Columbus Day, 4th of July. There's so many different things, and you want to remember those. And you don't want to look at your picture and go, oh my gosh, I just nuked somebody with the flash, because it was way too bright and you can't see them and there's no recovering it.
Yep.
All right, so the next thing we're going to talk about is distance. Now, the closer you are to your subject, the better off you're going to be. Now, we don't want, you know, let's say Elena's standing. Come on, Elena. Come on, Elena. All right, right there. All right. Oh, we want to take this really pretty picture of Elena. Oh my gosh. We're like 1,000,000 miles away. It does not look that good. Well, the next thing we don't want to do is we don't want to use the digital zoom, because using the digital zoom usually does not turn out that well. So we can do, whoops, that and zoom in on her, but then you see how your hand is kind of shaking? Well, that camera shake gets exaggerated. So instead of using the digital zoom, just get closer to Elena. So, oop, we gotta get rid of the zoom. Stop zoom. And then we have the goofy little girl who's just giggling about everything. So we get closer to her, and the better picture we get. So just by walking in, we go from that, which, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. You can probably zoom in and it'll look great. And that's with the digital zoom. And that's another thing. You want to make sure that there are no poles, no trees, anything growing out of people's heads. Because if you have stuff growing out of people's heads, you know what? It really does not look that good. So avoid growing out of the head. But then you have that where, you know, Elena looks a little bit better. Everything's, you know, moved closer. All right. So our next thing, what were we going to talk about next, Elena?
I don't know.
Selfies versus pictures.
Sounds like a comic book.
I know it does, though, doesn't it? All right. So what might look really good as a selfie for me, you know, does not look very good for her, and I don't take very good selfies anyway. So that's like lost right there. But, you know,
I'll take the selfie.
we can, you know, I can make myself look really goofy, or I can make myself look not that goofy.
And then I look goofy.
Yeah, and then you look goofy. So you got to make sure that, you know, we do the least amount of goofiness we possibly can.
Unless you're trying to be goofy.
Unless you're trying to be goofy. And, you know, more power to you if that's what you want to do. But that's the great thing about the screen. You know, move it around. You don't want to be up on a selfie because then it kind of looks weird. Yeah. And you don't want to be down because then you're shooting up your nose. And nobody wants to see your nose hairs or your boogers. They want to see you. That's the whole point of a selfie. So try to get, you know, as straight on as you can, and then just move your head around a little bit, move the angle around a little bit, and you can get a really cool selfie. Even though Elena's a little bit shorter than me, and it then looks down. But yeah, so then we get, you know, we move everything around, we end up with that. Which, you know, for a goofy selfie, it looks pretty good. As opposed to, come here, Elena. You know, we do the, ooh, let's get low. Okay, that doesn't look very good. Let's go high. All right, that doesn't look very good either. Man, we're making ourselves look goofy. So, looking high, besides the fact that I'm chewing gum and my mouth is open. And low, and that's the other thing. You can also get, light that you didn't want in the background or whatever. So you want to try to, play around with angles and do different things. And that way you're going to make it look the best you can. What was our next subject?
I think it was doing pictures indoors, maybe.
Yeah. Did we talk about backgrounds? Besides
No.
poles growing out of people's heads?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah. Avoid poles out of people's heads. All right, let's go inside and we can talk a little bit about backgrounds.
Under.
So we're going to use our pumpkin home as an example. Now, picture of somebody. We don't want them necessarily right underneath the sign or right underneath the background. There's no Danielle and the sign. They're the same thing. Right there. All right. So the farther we make it out, that sign doesn't, besides the fact that home is growing out of her head. It is, see? The background doesn't distract. And that's part of your goal. You never want a background that distracts. You want the background to enhance. So if you're taking a picture at Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that, you don't want to be right on top of the menorah or right on top of the Christmas tree. You want a barking chihuahua, but you want to be a little away from it. Yeah, that Christmas tree is not growing. You want the person to be your main part of the subject. And, I think that is her.
Passion.
All right, tell us about night vision, Danielle.
When you're using a picture of Halloween and it's dark and there's no street lights or lamps, and you use the flash, but then that only gives the person and it also gives them raccoon eyes. But when and you don't get anything else in the background, if there was like a really cool house or something, if you use night vision, then it shows everything, and the person doesn't get raccoon eyes, and their colors pop better.
Yeah. Well, cool. And that's the biggest thing. You want to take good pictures. And remember, these phones are made to take really cool pictures. You just gotta do it. I mean, for me personally, newspaper, I've shot magazines, and that was years ago before iPhone 11, and I don't just use iPhones.
Yeah.
But now they're so good with the so many different lenses and the so many different ways that you can do things. It's just a matter of knowing your camera and getting the best out of it. So just go out there, have fun, and make some really cool pictures. John, do we have any questions? No questions?
What?
Okay.
What about little girls who wear glasses that get glare on their glasses?
That is a great question.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
The first thing we want to do is not use a flash with little girls who wear glasses, because that will definitely pop. But it's just a matter of moving your camera around a little bit, and finding that angle where, like right now, stay right just like that, Daniel. So if we're right here, we're at a little bit of an angle. We don't have that reflection. But if we move a little bit, we can move around. Where is that? Yeah, you stay. We're moving. All right, reflection. So it's just a matter of moving around and finding a sweet spot.
Yep.
And that's the great thing about that's the great thing. Is you have this huge viewfinder that all you got to do is just kind of move it around a little bit. It's not like a regular camera where you have this tiny viewfinder. Big, you're able to see pretty You can do everything you need. You have anything you want to add, Miss Elena Danielle? What's up?
You talk my phones most of the time and they work, but what if somebody has a Samsung? Like, how do their Samsung phones work? Well, they're basically the same, except for that's it.
Well, you're supposed to have the answer to that, Bubba.
Well, Samsung's there's different modes of flash that I don't use most of the time.
Because we don't have flash.
Yeah.
Daddy, can I see your phone, please?
Yeah.
With there's a difference in where the camera is.
Yep.
And that doesn't really affect much, but yeah. And Thunder goes psycho.
It's just a different thing to keep. So your phone and your potential. And if you have any questions now, the future, whatever, message me on Facebook. I'm happy to answer them. You know, I love photography. It is a passion for me. I've been doing it for years now. And, you know, whatever I can do